Herzlich willkommen zur zweiten Session mit Frank Christensen, der auch heute, diese Woche, beide Spiele gereviewt hat und ein paar tolle Sachen, ich kenne ja schon seine Playlist, herausgesucht hat. Er wird uns auch etwas über BSB, Blindside Block erzählen. Und Frank, it's your turn.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just see if I can share the screen here. Looks like it's working. And there. Okay, just like last time, you know, these are just observations that I've made. They have nothing to do with their, with your Austrian supervisors. So, you know, anything I say is just on me, so you can take it or leave it, you know, however you want to. Please feel free to, you know, interject comments, questions, notes from the game, because obviously I can't see everything from the video, especially not when the clips are only 7 seconds long. So that makes it a little difficult to look at mechanics, but you know, we'll do what we can. But before we get to the mechanics stuff, I thought you know, I picked out I think 5 different plays that deal with potential blindside blocks, or you know, to put it another way, they certainly deal with blindside blocks, and they deal potentially with illegal blindside blocks. So I thought we'd just have a, and also I know that you had some conversations locally in Austria with the teams or with some coaches or something like that regarding some of these plays. So yeah, I just picked out 5, and we'll have a look at them and talk about, you know, how close is this to an illegal blindside block. So on the first one, you know, we're looking at this guy right there. Hopefully everybody saw the ball was caught over there on the far sideline. So now it's a running play, and this guy is going to block somebody. He's going to come in right there, and that is a blindside block, but it's not enough for an illegal blindside block. Remember that it has to be forcible contact for this to be an illegal blindside block. And here I just don't, I mean, it's a shoulder. I don't see enough forcible contact for this to be illegal. So who needs to be looking at this? Well, the back judge certainly should be looking in this area. Potentially also the deep wing on that sideline. You know, once we go into this part of the play, when the ball is caught and now it's a running play, regardless of where you are, try to pick out an area between you and the ball, more or less. Yeah, that's not black and white, but it's a good guiding principle, so that, for example, for the back judge, you know, this guy is right between you and the ball, and if he's going to be up to something, we need to see that. But again, this is a legal block. All right, next clip is we're looking at, he's going to roll out, he's going to tuck the ball, and the receiver there is going to notice that, so he turns into a blocker now. And right there, he makes a block. Okay, let's just go ahead and go back and watch it right there. So technically, you know, you could probably argue that this is a blindside block, because the guy that's being blocked probably didn't see this block. But again, just like the other one, this is not enough force. There's not enough forcible contact here for this to be an illegal blindside block. You know, sometimes we say we're not looking for the block, we're looking for the hit. So as long as they're just, you know, blocking like he does here, he doesn't blow anybody up. He doesn't make this this huge block or huge hit where somebody goes flying and potentially gets hurt. So again, this is a legal block, and who needs to see this? Well, again, back judge and deep wing on this side could certainly see it. Referee does a good job of following along. You know, if nothing's happening to the quarterback, you might sneak a peek in front of the play to see what's happening. And the same with the wing here, the linesman. There's no reason to look at the runner if nobody's around him. So if you have a chance, you know, look in front of the play to see the blocks. But certainly these two deep wings need to be able to see what happens there. And again, this is a legal play. And again, if you have any questions or comments, just feel free to interrupt me, and we'll go back and have a look at it. Okay, so on this one, we're looking at the tight end across the field. He's going to come up there. So that guy over there, the field judge key initially, at least. And again, now we've got a running play. So unless you have forward progress responsibility, you should be looking at blocks right now. And here he comes back in and makes that block. So you know, now we're getting a little closer. We've got, you know, if we're looking at the different indicators that we can look at, you know, it's not really a launch. He kind of leans into the defender. It's not a launch, it's not a crouch, but he is leaning in, and you know, he's beginning to use his upper body and his weight to put in the hit. I see too much of a lean and too little of a real hit for this to be illegal. And I also see him, at least at the last part there, he's using his arms to push. Typically, when you see a real illegal blindside block, they're only using the weight of their upper bodies, and the hit happens with the shoulder. They don't really engage with the arms too much. So here I see him lean into it, and he's using his arms also to make the push. But this certainly is closer than the two previous ones. So again, you know, it's a gray area, gray scale, where, you know, it would be nice if everything was black and white and you could say for sure that this is illegal, this is legal, but we have to operate in a gray area, and sometimes make these decisions, or always make these decisions in that gray zone. This is getting close, but I don't think this is quite enough for an illegal blindside block. All right, next one, we're looking at this guy out here, the side judge key. And if we want to talk about a brick in the hand, right now, for a deep wing or a short wing even, or a back judge, if this is your key, you know, antennas need to go up right now, because they're coming across, they're coming in, and they can either do a blindside block, they could also do a low block, which would also be illegal here. So once he does that, nothing else in the entire world exists except for A5. We need to know everything he does here. But luckily for us, and also for him, you know, this is also a legal blindside block. You know, we've got the wrong angle, but I think we can see that he comes in, he initiates at least partly with his hands and arms, and that typically is an indicator that this is going to be a legal blindside block. And there's really not enough ouch in this contact where we can say that this is forcible. But you know, technically, this probably is a blindside block because the guy doesn't see him coming. But I'm perfectly fine with this not being called as a blindside block, and also not being called as a block in the back. I think it's in the side, and it's perfectly legal. Just like, incidentally, the linebacker does a legal low block there because he manages to go 10-2 and he's inside the 5-yard belt. So we've got a legal blindside, we've got a good side block, and we've got a legal low block here. Hopefully we saw all of this. Hopefully we've got the side judge watching this and ruling on it, and hopefully we've got you know, a wing or back judge, side judge also seeing this low block by the defender. You know, potentially even the referee, since it happens in front of the run, you know, the referee might be able to pick this up. But hopefully somebody saw it and ruled that this was a legal block. All right, that's not my comment there. All right, so last one. We're looking at this guy here, and again, it's a teammate of the runner, which is typically the case. And he's going to come in right there and do a block. And again, I just don't see enough. We want it to be bigger. This certainly gets close, kind of like the tight end from 2 plays ago. But yeah, what I see here is that he comes in and he kind of absorbs the contact, and then the actual separation comes from the push, not the hit. So again, we're looking for the big hit to be illegal, but where this is more of a block, and he's using his arms and his hands. So I see this also as a legal block. And again, just like we talked about before, you know, the deep guys certainly need to be looking in this area. Potentially a wing could see this, but they are probably focused on the runner and the ball at this point and progress. So we would be looking for the deep guys, whether you're sticking with your key or you're looking in your area to pick out somebody to look at. Somebody needs to see this, and it could potentially be any of the 3 deep guys that could pick this up. That was the little blindside block run through. Yes, sir.
If you give me just a minute or 10 seconds, I'm very thankful for your advice, and I totally agree with you, and I'm really happy that you support our opinion in what we want and what we don't want as a foul. Even if when I have to say I was a little bit lucky in the 3rd one, because I didn't see it hold the action. I just saw the big flying from the
Right.
DB.
Yeah.
So I was lucky not to throw the flag, but we want the big ones. We want to avoid injuries, but we don't want to destroy the game, and let the boys have fun and let the spectators have fun seeing those blocks.
Yeah. And if you want to have a look at some more blindside blocks and also have a look at some that are, you know, that are illegal blindside blocks, we have a very good IFAF training tape that actually shows both legal and illegal hits and blocks, so that you can, if you want to dive further into this, get a better sense of, you know, what is too much. So that was just a little advertising there.
Yeah, we will. I already noted it for our mid-season trainings session. So we will have 2 evening sessions in the mid-season, and blindside block will be a strong part of it.
Excellent. Yeah, you know, when it's a fairly new rule and you're still getting used to seeing it and recognizing it, you know, the more video you can watch of it, the easier it becomes to recognize it on the field. All right, let's have a look at this this deep wing here. We're moving on from blindside blocks. So a couple of pointers here. Let's just go ahead and run the play first. So a couple of pointers here. So first of all, we're getting ready to snap the ball. So really the counting between the three deep guys should have happened hopefully, 10 seconds earlier than this. What I try to do is as soon as the play is over and I do all the what down is it and all that stuff, status of the ball, I do my pinching towards the defensive players. At that point, I try to count already so that I get my count done even before they think about huddling or getting close to each other. Now we don't see as many defensive huddles anymore as we once did, but I want to get my counting done as quickly as I can, preferably while I'm pinching before I get back out to my position, so that I can communicate my count to my buddies back there. And then I can start focusing in on who's my key and what is the formation. How is my key going to change if my key goes into motion, all that kind of stuff, so that I'm ready for the next play. Here, I worry that we're spending too much time communicating a count when we're very, very close to the next snap. Right now, we should know what the formation is and down and distance and all that stuff. We should be focused in on the next play. So my advice would be to try to get the count in and the communication obviously in a little earlier than this. All right, so now we know what the play is. It's going to be a deep pass. We talked about last time that we want good first step there for this side judge. Could even be harder. I mean, right now we're still walking very gingerly backwards, and the players are getting closer and closer. And now that we turn around and start running, the players are already there. And if we're going to race them for 55 yards, they're going to beat us. I would probably follow this good first step up with some light jogging or even start to move back. Also, while we're reading the play, and these receivers are coming, right? So right now, this certainly looks like a pass, and a pass can turn into a deep pass. And now we've got this guy coming, right there on the 30-yard line. He's coming towards us, so we need to move and keep that cushion. We need to move more than this. And here, if I were to be mean, I would say all three deep guys are burnt here. They're beat. I would, as a back judge, I would probably want to be at least 7 or 8 yards deeper than this, preferably still facing these players. And the same with the two deep wings. As long as you can backpedal, as long as you can keep the players in front of you and be facing them, you are in good shape. Obviously, at some point you have to turn around and start running with them. But this is some of the stuff that as deep guys we have to work on to try to do that. I mean, for the back judge here, whoops, sorry about that. It's pretty good movement. I would probably move now, move right at the snap as for this back judge. They end up moving 5-7 yards, and they are now up in speed by the time that you start moving. So I would probably start moving right at the snap, so that you give yourself as much potential cushion as possible. For the short wings, as soon as this ball is thrown, my advice would be to start running. As much explosion as you can. Over there on the far side, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's what we want, because potentially if he's going to catch that ball 40 yards down the field, that is your spot. That is your progress spot. And ideally, the deep guys are 10, 15 yards in front of the play, so they're not going to take the spot. So you need to, as they say, get on your horse and get down there. So that's pretty good movement by the line judge over there. All right, let's move on to the next play. All right, so we're looking at the line judge over there. Okay, I'm not sure these are my my notes, because I think these are my circles. So, okay, if we're gonna look at the incomplete stuff, you know, obviously we want to signal incomplete, but we also want to make sure that it's the calling official, in this case the short wing over there, that has the primary call. So as for deep guy, you know, don't worry about coming out with an incomplete signal that quickly. Nobody's going to watch it anyway. Plus, you know, leave that primary call to your buddy over there. My comment here on the umpire and the backside wing, there we go, is really, you know, it's a feeling of mine that I'm thinking, what are they looking at right now? Are they looking at the catching complete over there? Are they actually, did they get caught up looking at the ball? And you know, I think we talked about this last time also, is this crew cooperation where we trust each other to do our own job. And here my advice to the umpire and the wing is to trust your line judge over there to make the call, and don't get sucked into looking at the ball, you know, 20 or even 50 yards away, because your focus, your eyes, your concentration can be better served by cleaning up. You know, if too many officials get caught up looking at a ball when it's not in your area, at some point somebody's going to take a cheap shot and we're going to miss it because we have too many eyes on a ball and not enough eyes on cleanup. So it's part of the crew cooperation and communication and trust that I do my job and everybody else around me will do their job, and that will give us the best coverage overall. So if you catch yourself looking at the ball that's way away from you, you know, start thinking about, should I be looking at something else instead? All right, next play here. So we're looking at this deep wing over here, one of my pet peeves, and it could be any deep wings. This one just had a fairly good body language. This is a punt, obviously. You can see the punt returner already where he's going, which will tell us where the ball is going. So, okay, again, this is not my, maybe it's my comment from the Excel sheet, that could be. But that's a good point. You know, if we can be on the goal line, that would be better, because the ball lands on the 15-yard line. Sometimes that takes a crazy bounce, and the ball could be at the goal line in no time at all. So the goal line certainly is important here. As soon as the ball is on the ground, you know, the bag judge has responsibility for the ball. For the deep wings, you know, the closer the ball gets to the sideline and the closer the ball gets to the goal line, the more likely it is that we want two sets of eyes on the ball, because the more relevant it is where the ball is and was it touched or not, is it inbounds, out of bounds, is this going to end up in a touchback because it's very close to the goal line, or are they going to down it on the one? We want to be accurate on these rulings. So 2 sets of eyes here would be fine. That also means that for the backside deep wing, he or she needs to recognize that now we've got two officials looking at the ball. So he, in this case, I think it's a he, needs to be looking at all the players in here, because the deep wing over here is no longer looking at these guys. So we need that to be picked up by the backside deep wing. And the body language of this guy over here tells me that he's looking at the ball. The way he's moving down to the goal line is he wants to get back there to look at the ball and the goal line. And potentially he's going to be looking right into the back judge's back, basically. So he can't really help us a whole lot with the ball. So his focus again would be better served looking at these players up here, again, because potentially or eventually we're going to get a cheap shot up here, and we're going to miss it if we have 3 sets of eyes looking at the ball. So especially for the deep wings, it's really a question of when should I be looking at the ball, which won't be very often, and when should I be focusing in on my players, my keys, my areas, and leave the ball, trust your back judge to take care of the ball. All right, attaboy with a big smiley there, or a tip of the hat to the back judge and the field judge in this case. Excellent coverage on this touchdown pass. As soon as the ball is in the air, back judge does a really good job of moving out to get into position to see what's going on. Whenever you can get closer to the sideline, especially when the play is close to the sideline, that's typically a good thing. And for the deep wing, as soon as you realize the sideline is threatened, that's an excellent move up, so that you're looking down the sideline. That gives you a better angle to see if a foot steps on the white. But we've got 2 officials in perfect position, good body language, full focus and control on what you need to be looking at. So excellent coverage here. Obviously, I can't see if it's the correct call, but it certainly looks like it, and you guys look really good doing this. So my tip of the hat on this play. All right, moving on to the next game. And again, looking at mechanics here, we're always limited by the quality of the video. And when we don't even have the snap, or we don't have any of the dead ball action, sometimes it's a little tough to do a whole lot of mechanics talk here. But I've tried to find some that we can look at and maybe work on. So for the umpire, like the text says, and I think this is what I put in the Excel sheet, your focus should be on the players. It looks here like you're looking back to see where the stick is and where the chain is, so that you know if you can stop the clock for a first down. And it goes back to the trust that we were talking about. We've got 2 wings that are going to do that for you. You don't need to be focusing over there. You see the line judge here is already starting to stop the clock. The linesman also should know that this is a first down, so we should have at least 2 officials here starting to stop the clock, so that you can focus, Mr. Umpire, on the players in front of you and in your area, and trust your colleagues to do their job. So it's kind of a theme for tonight again, is this trust and working in our own areas. Okay, yeah. So for this one, back judge, like we talked about 2 weeks ago, for a back judge in this position should be in position 3, which is in the middle of the field. And the reason we want to do that is so that we can cover sideline to sideline, so that we can, as soon as the ball is that fade pass is thrown to the sideline, we can move towards that sideline. And every step we take away from the middle of the field is a step potentially away from where we need to go to cover a play. And this play here is really a good example of this. So as the ball is snapped, we're out, all the way out here close to the hash, and we're still moving that way. Now the ball is being thrown, away, and from where the back judge is now, it's very, very difficult to, if not cover the play, then at least it's difficult to sell the play. So if we were in the middle of the field, and in this formation, we don't really have a key to start the play. So if I were down there as a back judge, I would just start in the middle of the play and let the quarterback tell me what's going to go on. And when I see that, that looks like a fade pass. So I would start to kind of sneak towards that side so that I could help on this fade pass. It'd be a lot easier, a lot nicer if the back judge was somewhere around here instead of 20 yards further away to help with this call and ruling. So back judges start in the middle of the field and then move from there. And from this video, it's very, very difficult to see what really happens there. Probably if 18 did anything, he probably did it with his right hand, which we can't see from this angle. And hopefully the referee is not looking at the pass right now. It certainly looks like it, but I'm sure Benny was looking at some cleanup in the middle of the field. But good job of ruling this interception, even though I think it came back on the DPI. Move on to the next one. So we're looking at the linesman over there. So we're talking about signals here. So to me, I'm guessing here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this signal is supposed to indicate that the pass was touched behind the line of scrimmage, which really is not something that we usually signal. What ends up happening, at least the way I see it, it looks like this wing is punching in the backfield to indicate that this was a backward pass, which it wasn't. But we then end up with what looks like a backward punch and then an incomplete for a forward pass. So it ends up looking a little confusing. So my advice would just be to simply to stop doing this signal for the pass was touched behind the line of scrimmage, because we don't really use it. We don't really need it. Obviously, we need to know that, and that's one of the reasons the wings are on the line of scrimmage. But this signal will get you into trouble in terms of, well, you had it as a backwards and then you blew it incomplete. What's up with that from a coach? All right, moving on to the next one. So we're looking at the line judge here, and really we're looking at, even though I don't have a lot of dead ball footage of this, we're looking at movement and pinching and forward progress and squaring off and all that good stuff. All right, something about the linesman, side judge key, but really my focus would be on the line judge here at the bottom of the screen. Good job of staying back. There's no reason to come up, really fast or quick to get the progress spot. It's still going to be there after the play ends. But if we look at and that's where the play ends or the video ends. But right here is pretty much where our line judge starts to pinch in. And this is what, -1 or -2 of the big yard line. And I'm sorry. Here we go. Sorry about that. So from the -2, more or less, to where the progress spot is the +1. So we're kind of doing a 3-yard banana, as I like to call it. And that's not going to give us the best accuracy in a forward progress spot. So my advice would be from this point on is to turn this into a sideways shovel so that you still have your focus and you can have both of your eyes into the field, and then sideways shovel from here and all the way down to where you want your progress spot, and then more or less stop before you go completely 90 degrees onto the field. That sideways shovel is going to give you a better progress spot, where this kind of banana is where you want to end up is going to be less accurate. So my advice would be to try to work on a sideways shovel, which also would give you 180 degree field of vision towards the field. So as soon as you know where the progress is, turn that into a sideways shovel. And from what I've heard from very experienced wings is they like to do the first couple of steps as a sideways shovel, where you still have 180 degrees, and then if you need to turn and run with the play, because it's going to be a long play, you can turn and run with the play, and then once the play gets close to being over, kind of there, then they want to turn it into a sideways shovel again as they're slowing down, so that they can, when they do their pinch, it's a perfect 90 degrees. All right, and unfortunately we can't see exactly where the progress ends up, because this is where the video ends. All right, next one here is also for the this is, I believe this is my tip of the hat for these two. Certainly well done for these two wings. Third and short, we know when it's 3rd down or 4th down and less than 2 yards to go, we want to get our wings to treat the line to gain just like they would treat the goal line. And here, both of these guys, both of these officials do that very, very well. Boom, right at the snap, they move down, good coverage of the line to gain. This is exactly how we want this to work. There's no delay. There's no hesitation. This speaks to good communication before the snap. Is that the crew has talked about how they want to handle this, and the wings have it in their pre-snap, so that as soon as the ball is snapped, we move in there and we do a good job of covering that line to gain, and a good job of covering the dead ball spot here also. All right. I think that was it for for all the plays. Yep, number 20 was the last one, so I just didn't get the smiley in there, but that was my second tip of the hat for the second crew there.
So thank you, Frank, for your hard work, and I know what it's work to do a review and filter those plays and make some helpful notes. So thank you very much.
Very welcome. I enjoy it, and like you know, I love talking football. So, you know, any other questions or comments or anything? If there are any other plays that you guys want to have a look at, you know, we can easily pull them up.
I want to advise my colleagues just to also read the Excel sheet I sent from Frank, where is also good advice in rules and mechanics too. And there are some worksheets in this workbook, so don't forget to pick the others to see also the individual comments for your position on the second worksheet. Some of you didn't see that until now. So if there are any questions regarding reviews or to this session, please feel free to ask.
Yes, absolutely. There we go. Yep. All right. If there are no other questions or comments, I believe you guys have 2 more games this weekend.
And now we hope we have 3, because the Prague will come to Vienna, and so we have 3 games this weekend. And some of our colleagues, I see them smile because it's their first AFL game. Matthias, huh?
Yep. So, I'm very jealous. My first game is not for another 3 weeks.
But these are good news for us, because you said you make another review for us, maybe another session.
I'd be happy
thank you
to.
for that.
I'd be happy to, and then hopefully, you know, my advice to the crews is to, you know, in the pregame, talk about this communication and cooperation, staying in your own areas, and hopefully we can see some improvement in a couple of weeks, where everybody is focusing in on their own stuff. And we'll see less of that, you know, looking around, getting caught looking at the ball when you shouldn't.
So I'll stop the recording, and for my colleagues.
Frank.
Okay, Horst.
Frank, if you question why some of Austrian guys are putting their hands in the pockets or something like that, we are searching the whistle.
Well, a lot of that stuff is not on video because, you know, the clips are very